Welcome everybody. Thanks for joining me. My name is Paul Staton. I'm the founder of the Healers Academy. In the Healers Academy, I train people to become healers, to access their inherent abilities, come from the heart, so they can help others heal. In this particular video, I'm really excited to share with you about the healer's journey. How a person becomes a healer and what happens in their life which actually helps them train to become a healer. So let's start off by looking at these challenges. Have you ever had these experiences in your life? Have you ever felt you didn't fit into the world? You felt the world was a bit weird? You felt you had to sacrifice yourself to fit in, to be accepted by others? Can you relate that to you in your life? So you're not quite sure about your direction, you're not totally clear who you are, you're not really quite sure about why you're here on the planet, about what your purpose is. Yeah? Can you relate to that? Well, I can relate to that in my life. So I want to tell you a little bit about my story, which will help you understand about how I became a healer as a healing coach in the Healers Academy. So when I was growing up, I always felt the world was a bit weird. I didn't really feel I fitted into the world. I felt I was quite magical. I felt I played with energy a lot. I could really connect to the spiritual world. But I wasn't quite sure where people were coming from. I didn't really feel people were being their authentic self. So I tried to fit into the world, and by trying to fit into the world, I felt I was very unhappy. I was sad. I didn't really know why I was here. You know, I felt quite overwhelmed by life quite a lot. I felt quite depressed. I felt quite sad. You know, in my teens, I went through a period of suicidal depression because I didn't really know why I was here. I didn't really know how I could fit into the world, and I didn't really know what my role was here. Yeah, can anyone else relate to that? Now, of course, that made life was very tough for me, and you know, I went to university and I learned economics to try and understand a bit more about the world, and then I got a job as an accountant, which I didn't really like, but I thought I'd try to fit into the world, you know, into the corporate world. But in 1996, I got an emergency of I had a broken love affair, which really hit me in the heart, and I had a job that I wasn't really like. I was teaching at university at the time, and even though I was quite successful in terms of the university, you know, I won a National Teaching Award, I wasn't really happy. I didn't really feel I knew who I was, and the triple whammy, the third big thing that happened in my emergency, was that one of my friends was in hospital and he almost died. And when I went into the hospital and saw him there, and I almost fainted because I don't like hospitals, and it really hit me hard. And after that, after seeing him in the hospital, I went and sat in the botanical gardens next to the hospital in Adelaide, where I came from, and I sat there and I pondered about my life, and I thought, I can't go on like this. I don't want to end up in a hospital because I'm not happy. You know, that guy had a car accident because he was addicted and he was drunk, and that's what caused the car accident. I thought, you know, I've got addictions in my life, and I thought, do I want to end up in hospital and have a car accident to wake me up? Because, you know, when I look at emergency, I go, the word is emerge and see. You know, this was an emergency for me, and it was time for me to emerge from my life of unhappiness and find joy and find out who I really was. So 1996, I went on a journey to find out who I was. And in that, I actually did healing, because seeing that guy in hospital really got me connected to wanting to heal myself and not have to be in hospital. And I did a lot of courses on healing and find out about who I was, courses on energy and courses on consciousness and the world. And in that, I rediscovered who I was by reconnecting to my essence and playing with my magical abilities. Because I realised I was very sensitive to energy, and I could feel other people's energy and really know where people are at and help them be able to move that energy. So I actually became a healer. And, you know, I left university, which freaked out a lot of people. But I knew that I wasn't happy, and I had to follow my passion. And my passion was to help other people, because I realised by my abilities were in helping other people, because I could connect to them, connect to their energy, their blocks, and find out what they meant for them in their life, and be able to clear that energy and help them transmute their life into a life of joy and meaning and vitality. So this was very exciting for me because, you know, what I discovered by reconnecting to myself, I was a lot happier who I was. You know, I remember that one of my colleagues from university ran into me in a coffee shop years after leaving university, and he looked at me and he said, "Paul, you look 10,000 times healthier and happier." And that made me realise that the transformation I've made in my life, people could notice. So I felt a lot more happier in life, and I felt I had meaning and contribution to the world because I could help other people. So the important thing about going on this journey of, after an emergency, you go on a journey and discovering who you are. I call that like the healing journey, and I became a healer. Okay, so it's not only it changed my life, it also changed my clients because I was helping people transform. You know, I remember a little 7-year-old who had all these allergies, and I really connected to her and found out what the issue was. It wasn't nutrition, that was the symptom, but the main issue she had was she had a power issue because she had an issue with her mother, which was blocking her power chakra, which is your stomach. And when I helped her connect to her power and change the relationship between her as a 7-year-old with her mother, all her allergies went away. And to see her change and transform and be able to eat food and be healthier and connect to who she was, I mean, that was really passionate to me, and I feel, wow, you know, I could really help people. And there's a lot of people I've done that with. You know, in the last 20 years as a healer, I've worked with people from 50 countries because I've worked in international healing centres, and I've helped transform people's lives in a massive way. And it's not only changes them, it changes the people around them. So that passion, I've reconnected to excitement and joy in life again, that I can enjoy life and by being who I was, by sharing my gifts. So, you know, from these results, what I found out was the world is going through a change. You know, it is changing from what I call the old world of people looking at Western medicine and looking at taking pharmaceutical pills and operations as the only form of healing. And I was never really comfortable with that. And what I realised is we're going through a major change in awareness, and now there's holistic healing has come back in, and that's what I am. I'm a holistic healer, which help people go inside and look at the main reason why they're ill, not just taking a pill or an operation and believe that's healing. So I feel we've moved into a new world where people are now want to use natural therapies and use holistic healing because it's healing them in a total way by looking at the underlying reason why they're ill, and that is that they're not connected to who they are, and that's blocking the energy flow into their body, and that block causes body dysfunctions, which makes them ill. So healing is the reverse, and the reverse is you connect to the block. You don't block the symptom, you know, with a pill, but you connect to the symptom, connect to why you're sad, connect to why you've got a pain in your body. And then from that, you reverse engineering and find out what part of your soul you're blocking. And by doing that reverse process, people can actually heal, and the flow of energy enables their body to heal. And I feel that's so exciting, and I feel we're moving into a phase now in the world where holistic healing and people reconnecting to their spirit and who they are is a major movement in the world. So what I'd like to do today is show you the healer's journey, and you'll see that the healer's journey I'm going to explain now is similar to what I've gone through, because in a way I've gone on the healer's journey, because I didn't really realise I was a healer until I went through my emergency and I went on that journey to discover who I was. But what I've realised, I've learnt a lot which I can share with other people who want to become healers, because that's what I now do. I specialise in training people to become healers in the Healers Academy. So what I'm going to do now is show you on the whiteboard this healer's journey and talk about the main phases and see how you can relate this to in your life about the healing journey you've gone through, and maybe as a wounded healer, to become how you're going to access your skills and abilities to be a healer. So now I'll show you on the whiteboard. Okay, so now I'm going to show you my solution, what I've found from my journey, what I've discovered. And one of the things I discovered was the healer's journey, what we go through as a healer to become a healer. And I've called this the Jcurve. And it's called the Jcurve because it's shaped like a J. Like you go down in life first, you hit a bottom, and then you go up and you find out who you are and you find happy and joy. And for a lot of people, you know, this rock bottom is quite often referred to as a midlife crisis for a lot of people, where they go through an emergency and then they come out of that. So let me talk about each of these stages of the life of the healer's journey and see how it relates to you. And you'll see that it relates very much to the journey I went through to becoming a healer. So the first stage of the healer's journey, point number one, is the trauma. And quite often traumas happen when we're quite young, usually when we're below 5 years old. And quite often we come into this world as a spirit, and we don't totally fit into the world, and we quite often have issues with our parents or our siblings, and you know, I'm having a dominating mother or dominating father, and we don't feel we can handle that situation. And what might then happen is we close ourselves down to try and fit into the world, and we create this false sense of who we are to so that we're accepted by people around us, and we'll at least feel comfortable to survive as a little boy or a little girl. Now, of course, the problem with this behaviour of closing yourself down is that you're going to struggle because you're not being who you are. So therefore, then what you do is you tend to struggle through life, because you're closing your abilities. So for instance, like for me, I struggled by not knowing who I really was, and being depressed and being sad and being angry, being suicidal as a teenager, having addictions is quite often a struggle that we do because we believe we can't handle life. So we take an emotional tranquilizer to cover those experiences, the pain that we've got inside that we don't know how to resolve. So we go through a lot of struggles. Right, and those struggles will continue, and then quite often in life we have a major an event, which can be a car accident, or for me it was like going and seeing that guy in hospital, or it could be you lose your job, or you lose your house, or it could be a broken relationship. But quite often a major event happens in our life, which I'll call an emergency. We tend to hit rock bottom. It makes us feel, we don't feel very good at all. You know, we feel really bad about ourselves, and we feel frustrated, angry with life. And in this emergency, as I said before, it's an emergency. It's a chance for us to merge from these struggles and traumas to release who we are. So after the emergency, then what we tend to do is tend to go on a healing journey, which I call number 4. We search for solutions. And by searching for solutions, what we're trying to do is overcome those obstacles and those difficulties we've been experiencing in life, in the first part of our life with our trauma and struggles and emergency. We're actually looking for solutions to try and be happier and healthier and to have a life of meaning and contribution. So what we tend to do is go on a healing journey. And for me, that was when I left university after seeing that guy in hospital and reconnecting to who I was and doing a lot of courses on healing and finding about energy and consciousness. That was how I searched for solutions. And in that I found out that I was an amazing healer, because I could really connect to people and use my abilities. So what you do when you search for solutions, you're really reconnecting to who you are. You're doing a healing. And that's what I call healing is. It's reconnecting to your essence. And you're reconnecting to your essence because you went through so much pain by not being who you are. And now when you search for solutions, then from that you discover solutions. You discover ways that you can live and be which make you happy and joyful and meaning. And this, it could be a singer, or it could be doing creative art, or whatever way that you find solutions to actually be who you are. And through this fight, discovering solutions, for instance, this is a solution, helping people understand their healing journey. And by discovering solutions, then what you can do is you can go and share those solutions with other people who've got a similar journey to you. So for instance, if you had problems with a dad or a mum that had addictions, like alcohol or drugs, and you had to go through that trauma, then you might be very good in terms of finding solutions of how to deal with that, to help other people, other kids who've got parents with addictions, because you've been through it. And by going through that experience, it enables you to feel what it's like. You can connect to people who are going through the similar pain that you had. And because you've found solutions to what you went through, you can share your solutions with other people. So therefore they find life easier and quicker, and they don't need to go through as much pain as you did, or they might have already gone through that pain as you did, but haven't found a solution yet. So in a way, the way I see this journey, this J for journey, is that we go through trauma and struggles. Through an emergency, we discover solutions to it so we can share it with other people. To me, life is like training. And the way we train ourselves as a healer, so if you want to train and help people who've got addictions, well, we're going to have experiences with addictions through our life, through ourselves or through our parents. And through that we find solutions and we can share that with other people. Or for instance, we might help people who are disempowered, because I quite often help women who are disempowered. So we might have had experiences, like for me, I felt quite disempowered as a child, is that by feeling quite disempowered and being able to move through that, and finding solutions, I know what it feels like to feel disempowered, and I can help other people know how to empower themselves and find out who they really are and find the source of the power inside of themselves. And you know, the interesting thing, like a Jcurve, like you go down then you go up, to me it's a bit like being on a trampoline. The more you go down on a trampoline, the further you can go up. You know, the further you push down a trampoline, you can jump even higher. And to me, that's what life is like. The further you go down into your rock bottom, into who you are, the more you can go up and higher up and share your issues with people. If you look at most healers who are out there in the world helping people, I'm sure they've gone through major issues in their life. They've gone through this J, they've gone through the trauma, their struggles, their emergencies. They've now come out of that, discovered solutions, and they want to share that with people, share that with other people. And that becomes their life. They have a life of clarity because they know who they are, they know how they can help people. They've got a life of meaning because they can go and share that with other people and contribute to the world and reduce the suffering in the world. So this is the Jcurve, the healer's journey. So I hope that's been useful for you. Now with this video, if you're doing my course in Healers Academy, you would have had a couple of documents with a Jcurve and a document with labelled the healer's journey. Or if you haven't got those, I will connect them below this video, depending on where I'm putting it. And then an action you can do now is actually in the article called The Healer's Journey, which explains basically what I've gone through here, is to look at the questions at the end of that article, which I call the life questions, to help you look at what traumas did you have, what struggles and emergencies did you have, and what have you learnt from your life to be a healer. So that by looking at this is a very powerful way to help you understand your role as a healer, to have clarity of who you are and clarity of your purpose. So I feel that's my challenge for you after this video, is to look at your life and look at how can you look at your J and what you've been through in your life. Now if you really like this video, share it with other people, share it onto Facebook, make comments below to show what you've got out of it. I really appreciate your time for being with me today, to listen to this journey. I hope it's been very valuable for you and that you'll go away and have more clarity on your role as a healer. I'm very excited to share this information with you, and I look forward to being with you in my next video. I'll leave you with 3 favourite sayings I like to say that reflects my philosophy in life. One is, know who you are. And of course the Jcurve is one way to help know who you are. The second philosophy is be who you are. Once you know who you are, be who you are. The third philosophy, know who you are, 1, be who you are, number 2. The third one, share yourself. Know yourself, be yourself, share yourself. Share yourself as a healer. The world needs you. There's a lot of suffering out there. Thanks for your time. Look forward to being with you in the next video.